How's it going, everyone? Eric with Ham Radio Concepts, also known as What Now? Bam! Who learned CW? I figured today's a big day for me. I just got home from work not too long ago, 8:17 p.m. May 10th, and I'm excited to say that I finally learned all the letters and numbers and a couple of punctuation marks of CW. Round of applause. Perfect. So let's make a little video here. I want to show you guys, first of all, I want to thank you all, whoever's watching and subscribing and following and likes my videos. I want to thank you for keeping me going on this. It takes a lot of time and effort for this, and I tried learning CW before, but my viewership coming on 12,700 subscribers now, over 2 million views, and that gave me the drive to just learn another mode, which I've always wanted to learn, but just kind of got lazy for a while, got lazy, and then people said, oh, this is how you want to learn it. This is the way to learn it. There is no proper way to learn it, okay? It depends on the way you can adapt to learning it, all right? And that's why I figured I'd make this video to show you how I learned it and what worked for me, and maybe you can use this to your skill set and learn it if it works for you. And if you want to throw a comment and say, hey, the best way to do it is check out this website, and there's this thing where if there's a chart, and when you hear this, you go this way, and you can do that. That's fine. That didn't work for me. So I always wanted to have CW contacts, always. I love, sometimes I'll sit here with the HF radio, and I'll be on the computer talking. I got some guys on VHF on Simplex I'm listening to or talking with, and I got CW going on 40 meters at night. And I'm just listening, and the wife will come in and she'll be like, that's so cool. Why don't you ever do that? And I'm like, well, I never really learned how to do it. And, I always wanted to take something like this, my favorite radio, FT817 by Yaesu. I love that QRP rig, and I always wanted to take that thing out with a paddle and drop a wire out somewhere on the beach or throw a wire up in the air in a tree and just sit there on 1 watt and make contacts. I mean, I'll show you here in this video a couple of the kits I might be picking up that are little tiny kits, and I mean, for a few bucks you can put this thing together and have fun. A lot of people stick it in a tuna fish can or a Altoids box or whatever, and they pop this little crystal controlled 1 frequency CW kit in there that they put together. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it. I can run 100 watts on CW here, or CW portable, or I mean, if you want a contest on CW, great. If you want to run full eagle limit on CW, fine. I want to do the extreme low power. I want to do that 1/2 watt contact on CW. So I learned all the letters and all the numbers and a few punctuation marks. My goal was to proceed, and I'm going to show you on here an app I used and the method I did it. And if you're expecting this, whoa, this is like the best thing you've ever seen, and it's an app, and it's just the way I did it. So maybe it'll work for you. Maybe they teach people to learn like this. I don't know. Let me tell you a story. I ran into an older gentleman last week during work, and he never met the guy in my life, and he didn't know really who I was, and I don't know how we got in the conversation, but it turns out this guy was in the Navy for 20-something years, way back in the 50s or whatever, and he was a radio operator. He was a send and receive all day long, da-da-da-da-da-da. And so the guy hasn't done it in like 50 years, and I wrote down on a piece of paper just a word or whatever, and he did, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he like did it, and I'm like, wow. He's like, man, I had it burned in my head so bad. And he said, and I can copy 50 words a minute with no problem, and talk to the guy next to him at the same time. I mean, he was real proficient at it. CW takes a lot of practice. Now, for anybody who wants to comment, I will tell you that I am not a professional at CW. This video is not to be anything of a professional at CW at all. I'm showing you that I finally learned the alphabet, learned most of the all the numbers, most of the characters, and I can. I don't think the problem was ever going to be sending for me. I think, you know, sending it doesn't seem that difficult for me. It's the decoding. So when I sit down and start listening, that's where I need to practice because, they start running together after a couple seconds or a minute, and then I lose track. And it takes a lot of time to practice that. So that's where I'm headed next. Now that I know all the characters, if someone says da da da, I know it's K. If someone says da da did it, I know it's Z. And I'm going to show you what I did. So enough talking about me. Nobody wants to sit here and look at me anymore. But so let's and if for some reason you've never checked out Morse code, or you don't know what CW is, or you don't know the history about Samuel Morse or the international. I mean, it's an international language. The thing about CW is cool is if you get on the airwaves on CW and you're talking using dots and dashes like that in Morse code, the person you're talking the same language. So it's not like you're getting on and one person speaking Spanish, one person speaking English, or he has a different dialect or whatever. It's an international language. So if you know CW and that person in France knows CW, you're on the same language. You're talking the same thing. The difference is how fast you send, and what the Navy guy had said was, sometimes when you're listening for days and weeks, you can tell a certain operator the way they operate. That's pretty cool. I didn't really take that into consideration, that some people you could probably pick them up. And he said he never knew who he was talking to when he was sending and receiving all day, but he knew when he was talking to that same guy the way they sent and received. So I guess that's the same as saying everybody speaks English, but someone may speak it just a tad bit different, maybe? I don't know. But let me show you what I did with the app and how I ended up. And, there's a lot of stuff. You're going to see some more CW videos now. As I progress, I will try to afford some other stuff. I got an MFJ catalog over here at the corner of my eye that they have a lot of cool. I want a paddle. I think I'd be more proficient at a paddle than I would a straight key, but I want to practice on both of them because if you're sitting down at field day and someone, you're going to use the radio for a half hour or an hour and they have a straight key, I mean, it would kind of stink to say, oh, well, I don't know I can't do a straight key, I can only use a paddle. Maybe that's how it is. Maybe some people only learn on one thing and that's it, but I know some people that have never worked phone. All they do is 40 meter CW every day. Wake up in the morning, they get on a CW net, they do whatever, and that's all they do. That's cool. I love it. There's some people that only do PSK. There's some people that only do phone. There's some people that do it all. So I want to be that guy. I do VHF, UHF all the way down to HF and digital PSK, APRS, satellites, QRP, all that. But I needed to squeeze that CW in. So this is kind of like an update video / check out how I did it. So let's get a different angle at this, and then I'll show you something online, what I'll probably be picking up. A couple little kits, that are like pennies. They're cheap, a few dollars, and you can pick this kit up and stick it in that Altoid box, a little mint tin, and I don't have anything around here that I could show you for an example, but stick this little kit you put together with a crystal in there and throw a wire up in a tree, on 1 watt, and just bang out some contacts on QRP. That'd be fun. I think that'd be really cool. So let's check this out. All right, so I guess this is the best way I can come up with to show you. All right, but you get the idea. So I got my cell phone here, and I turn the lights off so you can see it. Now, this is the app. You see the app right there, if I can get it on screen. What is that? Morse CT? I don't know what that says. But I just clicked on the picture. Just type in Morse code trainer. Actually, if you click on that, that's what it's called. Morse code trainer, but it says Morse code trainer, Morse CT. So nothing special really about this app. It's free, and so you get here's how I started. So I started learning. I pulled up on Google. You can see that there's a lot of material online on the Morse code, language. So every day, and this has the handbook in here also, I'll show you. So every day I started, first day, A, letter A, da-da, okay? So I went to training, transmit, free pad. And basically you tap on the pad and it makes the tone, okay? Now, so what I did was I started every day, one letter a day, A. Okay, very simple. A, A, A. So in my day of driving around in a work truck, that's pretty much what I did, is I practiced A. Anytime I was holding the steering wheel, I was beating on it if I didn't have the phone on my lap. Don't text and drive, but I had this thing on my lap out of sight or on the center console while I was driving on a long drive at work, and basically just, tapping on it, hearing it in my ear. So I got A, very simple. Then I went to the next letter, B. So what I did was I practiced B. All right, and then after I got good with that, I started doing them together. Oh. Okay, A, B. So at the end of the second day, really, I had A, B down packed. I had B, and then I remembered A from the day before. Next day, C. So, all right, and then after doing that multiple times, I'd have C. And then at the end of that day, I would throw it all in. All right. So fast forward, and I could end up doing the entire alphabet. Well, you know, there's G there. Still working on it. But so I kept going every day, So you'd figure 26 days be a letter a day. But sometimes, E was easy. So I didn't need to spend a day on E. So I threw E in with F. And I would do EF that day. All right. And then over the course of, another easy one's T. Another easy one is H. All right. I. J. Oh, T. Right, so I can do the whole alphabet, and if I'm not concentrating on this letter, but I'll do it over and over again. So then after roughly 20-something days, I had the whole alphabet, and then so I would start to do the numbers, and the numbers are pretty easy too. They're kind of sequential. Like 0 would be 5 dashes. And then when you start 1 through 5, it's, I'm sorry. 1, 2. So, a dot, 4 dashes, 2 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, 2 dashes, till 5. And then it starts over. 1 dash, 4 dots, 2 dash, 3 dots, so. All right, so the numbers are pretty easy if you look at them. They're kind of easy to nail that down in a couple days. Just thinking 1 through 5. If it's 1 through 5, immediately I start with dots. If it's 6 through 0, I start with dashes. And I count them. So so roughly 25 days from April 15th to May 10th, I learned the entire alphabet, all the numbers, and a couple things. Question mark, slash, and so I got that down pat. Now, another thing I did was in this app, when you go back, you can do letters. So in between this, another thing I did was like when I had A through F on day 6, I would go into the letters and I'd do custom set and basically pick the letters that I knew. So I would do A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? Now, on day 6, I would just hit letters, and then it pops up the letter, and you type it in. If you get it right, it dings. If you don't, you get that. Okay. So and it gives you 3 tries. So very simple. So it just randomly. Oh. The app is a little touchy. You gotta. I mean, there's a time in between each letter, so that if you go too long, it thinks that's a space. You know. So over the course of every day, I added a letter to this. And I did it over and over again, you know. And it helped me get those letters stuck in my head. So now, after that point, I had, all the letters, all the numbers. I selected them all in here, and then it got kind of boring. Not boring, but I mean, it got easy. Every letter it came up, I got it. I mean, I nailed it. Once in a while, I'd throw a dash in instead of a dot, you know. But I would get it all. And so it's kind of, I'm sure there's ways of scoring yourself on another app, you know. But doing this over and over again, and I did this, when I woke up in the morning, right away. If I was on F, I was beating F in my head. Did-a-dot-it, did-a-dot-it, did-a-dot-it. I was doing over and over again. And by the end of the day, I'd do A through F. And then G the next day, I'd wake up first thing in the morning. Da-da-dit, da-da-dit, da-da-dit in my head. So it kind of gets repetitive, but for me, that worked because by the end of the 25th day, today, I got them all. And so there you go. Now, the letters, you get proficient on that. And if you need to know a letter, you can click on Handbook, and it shows you each one here. Okay? Some of these I haven't learned. At, $, dash, equals. I haven't really got those yet. So I'll go back. And now, when I got even better than that, and every day I would practice the alphabet and do all that. And I don't even know the alphabet backwards. So, a lot of people don't know the alphabet backwards. So that was my next thing. But then I started doing down here the words. So check this out. Now it throws in words for you. Here. Oops, that was K, see? Retry. Okay, here. And then heard. All right, so I got that word. And then now that's pretty cool because it makes your mind really think when you start getting these words. Okay. Bam. Okay. And I still get some rusty on some of them, but the words you really are hard until you get every letter because sometimes you'll get one with a W or a Z if you haven't made it that far. So you can't sort the words out for the letters you know. So the words came last because then I knew every letter of the alphabet, so I could nail them out. So sending seems pretty easy for me after 25 days. All right, and I'm not sure how many words a minute that I'm typing. If someone will comment, says, "Oh, it sounds like 12 or 8 or 4, whatever." I mean, I'm guessing I'm probably anywhere between 5 and 10 if I send this right here. I don't know how many words a minute that sounded like, but anyway, so you get the idea. So, man, when I got to the words part, I really got proficient at it. Now, the last thing I did was this got, where you have to look at it. Now, if I was driving to and from at work, or, if I sat for a few minutes and had something to do, I listened to talk radio. So every, the last word of every sentence I heard, I typed it out. And even I got stopped at a train today. So a train was going by, and it was going pretty slow. And you got all those weird names on there, different shipping companies. So then, UPS would go by. Oh, now the app did that with the... See, I don't know why the volume does that. I have to shut that off. Go back. Sometimes the volume craps out in the app. One bad thing. So UPS would go by on the thing. So I just grab that word and do it. See? UPS. And you'll see, like I said, if I take longer... So you're putting spaces in there, all right? So the app can pick up if you're, moving fast enough, so that you're proficient at having words together instead of all over the place. But so that's what I was doing. Every last word of the sentence, they're talking about a car sale, and Veldy Ford. Okay, good. Oops. Ford, missed the U. That was a screw up. But and prizes. All right. So and pretty soon I was doing this while concentrating on what they were saying on the talk radio. It was that's what stuck with me. So you do this, I'm only on a few days of words now, because only like 3 or 4 days, because I finally learned the last of the alphabet. So you can't do different words such as words if you don't have S and W. So you're kind of stuck. So right after I started getting the letters, the end of the letters, I started picking it up. And sometimes if a word would come up here, or I would type something, I'd see it and say, okay, it doesn't have a W. I could type that glass. So all right, and that's it. So that's my theory. I learned roughly a letter a day, except when I get to E and I and H and S, because those are easy. And the numbers, and then every day, did that. So that's my method of learning. And I'm curious on what you think about that. I'm curious on how you think I'm sending, or what I sound like. Like, hey, great job, that sounds really good. Or you need a lot of work. I know I need a lot of work, but hey, give me a thumbs up and a like and a comment, please. And I hope that this at least gave you incentive to maybe learn with me. Jump on there now. It's never, I'm thinking, wow, how many years now, 13, 14 years in ham radio, and I'm just now learning CW. I kind of wish that the test still had code, because if that was the case, when I got licensed, I'd have been a master at code by now. But, I take the weak route out, like everybody says, and I got it after they dropped the code, or I don't know when they dropped the code. I guess, I got licensed in 05, I think, 04, 05, and there was no code then. And that's, 12 years ago. So if I would have learned code back then, I would have probably been a master at it by now. So thanks for watching. I hope this came out good. It looks pretty good on my screen. Best way I can show you on the app. And let's look at the website real quick at one of the kits I was looking at, or a couple of the kits that are cheap. So real quick, just going to eBay and typing in CW kit. I know the video is a little longer than normal. There's a wide array of stuff you can find on Amazon or eBay for a cheap. For instance, I've seen somebody on YouTube using this 40 meter CW QRP Pixie kit, crystal controlled, one frequency, with a little plexiglass case, and it's a kit, so you can put the thing together and have fun with it. Have fun putting it together. It looks pretty simple. And if you have one of those ISO tip soldering irons I've showed you in previous videos, might make it even easier with a fine tip to put that together in a couple hours and say, yeah, I built this and I'm at a QRP event with it, just remember, when phone doesn't work, when sideband doesn't work, CW works. There's days where the bands are just crap and there's nothing but CW on 30 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters. So always somebody out there to talk to with very minimal power. It's a weak signal mode. It can be. So even going to Google and typing in, CW kit, there's a lot of places, even your favorite ham radio dealer, whether it be Gigaparts, Ham Radio Outlet, MFJ, wherever, I guarantee they got something for you for a paddle. I know L&R Precision has a mountain topper. It's like a 4-band QRP CW only. And I think MFJ has the Cub, which is like a 5-band QRP. And I'd like to check that one out. I think that'd be cool. And you could even get a portable loop and set it up with a loop. A loop would be great, be fantastic to have a magnetic loop or an alpha loop or something like that with a 5-band QRP transmitter. That'd be so cool. Set it up out of a backpack and get away. But you don't have to have a huge investment. I have 3 HF rigs here, and all 3 of them have CW modes. Chances are, if you have an HF rig, an HF antenna, I guarantee you have a spot to plug a paddle in And that little mode next to CW that you've never been able to use, you can just flip over and go. There's a lot more to CW than there is what I showed you, such as, zero beat or tuning in, or codes. Different codes send slower, and shorthand. That you don't type in "this is," you type in "de." So a lot of stuff to learn, but I'm excited. I'm just as excited to make this video as I am of learning CW. So I hope it was fun for you to watch, and let me know, please. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, comment, do whatever you want, and let me know what you think. And if you think that any of my videos or my cause has inspired you or gave you a learning curve somewhere, consider a donation so we can get some more, support the cause, so I can get some way better material up here soon and get some really interesting videos going. I appreciate every one of you subscribing and watching, so thank you. And to make it official, woohoo!